Hey, everybody, Russ W. Oker, Go Hills TV, powered by JBS. Time for the Fairway Meat and Grocery postgame. Fairway and Centerville and Latumbo proud to bring you our postgame interview. Coach Diehl joining me now. The Warriors split with Kirkwood, lose the first one 4-2, win the second one in dramatic fashion 6-4 on the walk-off three-run homer by Destiny Danger Lewis. Let's start with the opener. Obviously, a tough one to lose, and really tough for Matty Anderson, 16 strikeouts. That's the most in a game since 2020, the last game before we cut free for COVID, and then takes the loss. A couple of pitches I'm guessing she'd like to have back.
Absolutely. And she's given up a couple of long balls here in the last two outings, and so we're going to have to figure out how to make sure that she's locked in every pitch, because you let up one against a good team, and they're gonna make it fly, especially where they were at in their lineup. And she shook me off on a pitch that I wanted to call, and she was like, "No, I got this," and it went on the other side of the fence. So we'll have some conversations, but I give them I empower them to shake off. I want them to feel confident in what they're throwing, but maybe I should have called a timeout and went out and discussed it, I guess. I'll take it.
Well, that's a good softball team you played today.
They're good,
33-10 now on the season, and that's a lineup there is no place to rest.
Absolutely, and they've gone to Mississippi and Arizona, and they've played some really tough competition and seen some really great pitching, and so I love playing them. Coach Freeze and I always talk about it. All it does is help us, both of us, for postseason. The games don't have a whole lot of, doesn't determine the outcome of what we do in our postseason, other than just prepare us for that.
Claire Tipton had the home run in that game, but offense was really hard to come by against the young lady Myers. She threw very, very well against you.
She did, and she's a kid that she's going to UNI next year, and so she didn't get a lot of innings last year because they had two arms that really did it in the circle for them, but I knew that she was going to, go right at us. I thought she was a little bit more of an up ball kid, but I didn't see a whole lot of up stuff. I wish we would have made some better adjustments, because I told them that's what we're going to have to beat to get to the national tournament and win it in the national tournament. So, it is good for us to see that, and we haven't seen some good pitching in a couple games down the stretch here, and so it was great for us. I just hate when we come away with the L.
It's never fun to lose. The law of averages says you will from time to time, and then it's how you respond. You have the 3-run lead. Ryan Cheek was cruising along, and maybe wasn't even at 100%. I found out dealing with some hand
I went
situation.
out to just make sure she was okay, and she said her hand hurt, and so I was like, well, I want to get you out, because I don't want to make that worse than it is, because her on Saturday down at State Fair, she was nasty, and Ryan is hasn't been Ryan the way that we want her to be, and she was down there, and so I was like, I don't want to push you any more than I have to, and sometimes when you bring somebody in after Ryan, it's easier to see. It's easier to see what the ball is doing and make some adjustments, and they did that, and so we bumped Sarah out and went with Thea. So.
Well, Sarah, a lot of down balls, and it seemed like Kirkwood handled that better than they did the stuff that was going up. So then you go to Thea, and she battled, obviously kept us in the game. I do want to ask you about the ground ball, but obviously no thought of coming home. That's a pretty huge mental mistake.
That's what we talked about. And Sarah did it, I forget where we were, that she didn't check her runner. And I'm like, Thea said nobody said anything to her, and I said they don't need to. I need you to know that that's where your runner's at, and you got to check her. Like, you got to want that nobody's going to cross home plate. Like, that's got to be your mindset when you're in the circle, is you're not going to let them score. And so hopefully, my saying is always you got to do it wrong before you do it right. So I'm hoping that sticks, and next time she's in that situation, she reacts differently.
That being said, I wonder, did you also talk to Limley catching? Because while the bulk of it falls on the pitcher, she's, obviously when you release the ball, you're thinking something back to me, I'm going home.
Yep.
But,
and we did talk to her. And
obviously there are other players on the field that maybe could have helped correct a situation.
That should be a scream from your gut for her.
Yeah.
Because I think she was going right away. Like, she didn't, and we had plenty of time to get her. I think she'd have been dead.
Oh, I think if we executed, absolutely. But we're young kids, and you're right. They are going to make the mistakes from time to time, and you hope that they get it right in the future. Well, then you go into the last inning and get the first two runners on. Things get interesting, and then they make a change, go to the Hall girl who was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you get what you wake up every day hoping is that if the game's on the line, you have maybe the best hitter in the history of Indian Hills Community College softball. Certainly in the conversation. That's all subject to opinion. But her name is in the conversation. How shocked were you after Cataldo. First of all, how shocked were you that Cataldo took off for second base on you?
Yeah, that's a conversation I had when we were done with the game out here. Is I said I need your softball IQ to understand if you get out in that moment, the game is over, and it doesn't. None of it matters. So great, we got runners at second and third, right? That's what your mindset is. But I need you to understand that we want you to stay. And we got Destiny up, and then we got Hannah up, and so those are things that I said. I know that you guys can't hear everything that I'm saying in my head. But I had called off anything. We're not reading the glove. We're not going anything. Stay. And then she goes. So that's another, we had conversation. I mean, it's hard Destiny hits that to win it. And I'm out there like, we got to do this and we got to do this. So.
Well, and then how shocked were you? Obviously, the minute she picked up second, I thought, well, nice, we got the game-winning run in scoring position, but now obviously they're going to walk Lewis. Simpson's a really good hitter, but let's be honest. You want the best hitter, one of the best hitters in the country, or do you want one of the best hitters on Indian Hills?
Yeah.
You got to roll it. I'm shocked. I'm literally shocked that they would pitch to Destiny Lewis in that situation.
When they went out there and he had another conversation, I talked to Destiny and I said, I don't feel like you're tracking it very well. And she said, I'm gonna try to pick up the seams. And she tracked that one.
Oh boy.
To the other side of the fence. So
yeah.
I say if I had $1 for every time I said, can I just clone Destiny? And I wouldn't have thrown to her, but
and I think Simpson would have came up and obviously got the job done. But again, I was very surprised, and that's my thing with Cataldo getting second was, boy, now they're going to walk Destiny, and we'll see if Hannah can get it done. But Destiny gets another big moment in her Indian Hills career. Wow,
I know, that kid.
Just unbelievable. That ball is just now landed, I think. But how about the ball Aragon hit? That was a rope. Her home run was a long blast.
It was, and I felt like she wasn't getting her front foot down and she was dropping her barrel a little bit. And that one got out in a hurry. Like she got all over that one, so.
Yeah. Well, you get to split. Obviously, you want to win them both, but it's good to see good competition. Kirkwood is a team that's only going to make you better. They've got pretty darn good pitching staff, and now you got Iowa Western coming to town on Wednesday. And from the conference perspective, especially with this format, where you will, if you're the higher seed, you're going to play at home. We want the road to the district tournament to come through our Hellyer. It's in your hands. We put it on them, but what do you say to the girls to make sure that we don't take anything for granted here?
I felt like today it was the definition of show up and go through the motions. As I felt like that's how we played. Like we didn't flip the switch ready to go, and we weren't hungry. And so just having those conversations that we got to show up to play every pitch and compete every pitch because everybody wants to beat Indian Hills. Like we have a target on our back, and that they're kind of beating up on each other inside the conference. And so some people have got some losses, and so we can't just take it for granted that. We're gonna pick 2 on Wednesday, and so just having those conversations of getting kids to lock in.
All right, Coach Diehl. The Warriors get the Ottumwa Job Corps Warrior win in Game 2 today. We run our record now to 25-7 on the year. Got back into rankings this week at number 20. We hope to finish strong this week. Wednesday, back home here against Iowa Western. Dwayne Cook will be on that call on Wednesday, and then back home on Sunday as well on a Ricky Webster bobblehead day. First 100 fans to bring the Ricky Webster bobblehead to the game. Ricky will sign it for you. So, all right, Coach, hopefully we'll see you maybe tomorrow night at the Coaches Show.
Yeah.
Check your schedule.
All right.
Tomorrow night, the Warehouse Barbecue and Brewhouse Coaches Show. We'll talk more about this one and how the season's going for Coach Diehl and her Warriors. Also, Jake Stolzer will be on the show from the entire Go Hills crew. This has been the Fairway Postgame Show. Fairway Meat and Grocery proud to bring you the Warrior Postgame Show on Go Hills TV, powered by JBS.